Welcome
So,
everyone to the next Mass Effect 4 Guardians podcast video. I'm here with Tyler again. Say something.
hello. Hi.
Okay. Uh, we are getting the hang of this. We are getting faster and we are getting more experience and everything will be so cool and creative and you will know what the project is heading. So, before we start our it will be regular podcast, we should talk a little bit. I don't think that you know where we are from. Tyler, you are from Colorado, USA, as I know.
That is indeed correct.
Yeah, and I'm from here, Central Europe, from Hungary, Budapest. So it's like we are two separate worlds. And yeah, we've met through this project. So yeah. So the thing is that okay, so let's just start with the Mass Effect thing. I just found a picture I wanted to show to Tyler before we started the podcast, and I will show it to you as well. Give me a second, and I will put here. Do you see it?
Oh yeah,
The
I
Kyle,
love
the
this.
Kyle and
Yeah,
head mode, genius. But
yeah. See, he's definitely earned that position
on the
right there.
position in the crew. But I don't know if you step in. Actually, when I first played Mass Effect and there was that head, it was like one of the funniest things. I was feeling like I'm in the Citadel DLC again because it was like Vega, like, do you, Commander, do you want to take this to the ship? And I'm not sure that this is a good idea. I was actually playing a Paragon Shepard for the first time, and I'm not, I'm not sure, but let's take it anyways. And when I'm on the ship, I already know that, yeah, I can't take it back to the Bryson lab, the head, because actually it's a crime scene now, and I don't want to get rid of it. And I'm stepping into my cabin, and I thought that this head will be like in the, I don't know, the storage or something, or get an achievement, or something. And that head is just shouting at me all the time. So it's like I'm imagining that you had some sexy time with Garrus or Tally or someone, and it's like from the back, and it's "Wah! Wah!" And it's like, shut up, you're ruining my life. it's,
Oh
it's
God.
so bad.
Yeah, I, when I first got this thing, like because I've played the game so many times without any of the DLCs, and I was like, wow, I could pay for more stories. And so I paid for one by one because I didn't have the money all at once. And when I got this DLC, it was like one of the last ones I got. I spent 10 minutes, not joking, just playing around with this thing, just listening to it scream, and I laughed so hard at it, and
Like
it's
you
the
messed up.
best.
You know that you messed up. The other thing is, let's just talk about Shepard's weird, I don't know, collecting mania, or I don't know, like
It's called kleptomania.
a
I mean, I should
no,
know.
that's about stealing. Shepard is like, I don't know, shopaholic, or how do you say that? Like
I'd say hoarder, but
a
that's probably
hoarder.
wrong
Yeah,
too.
Shepard is actually a hoarder. Like that's why he doesn't have a bigger cabin, because that would be full of shit. Like you were commander of the Normandy for I don't know, 2 years maybe, 3 years at best.
Yeah,
It was not a long time, and just look at all that shit. It's
I
like,
know, right?
like I have small pets. I have pet rats. They are incredibly cute, but I had like hamsters and guinea pigs and rabbits and all these. I'm into little pets, and I love the space hamster. I think that everybody loves the space hamster. But the fact that that space hamster is still alive is some awesome feat. I don't know how, because let's just face it, that space hamster is in a tank. That's not healthy at all. Like, there is a plastic house for it, I guess. There is maybe some water, maybe. So there is no bedding for that little animal. It's just so sad. That's no. I don't know
Hey,
why.
he's a space hamster. He could survive. I
In
mean, he's from
space,
space.
like if you throw it out the airlock, it can still survive. I actually starting to think that actually it's like a miniature robot or something. Or
My
like when
goodness.
Shepard is going down on a mission and you don't bring a squad mate, that squad mate is like petting the space hamster in a like a good cage with good bedding and love and giving them food and water because Shepard always forgets it. And it's like they put the space hamster secret, I don't know, cage between the squad mates in secret because they don't want to like depress Shepard that Shepard you should not keep animals. Oh well, I totally should. Well, do you remember those fishes?
Yeah, I was just about to say about that. Like, at
La-
least it's not like the fish.
last time when you forgot to like give last time when you killed your fishes, we ate those things for a month on the Normandy. And we wonder why the food tastes bad on the Normandy.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I hated the fish in Mass Effect 2. Like, I loved watching them. I'm like, yeah, cool. I could buy fish on the Citadel. And then in reality, it's like, man, I actually just added a chore to a video game.
Yeah. So it's not easy, and I'm pretty sure that Shepard shouldn't keep fishes like that, or any animal.
Yeah.
So there is that, and even I maybe I can remember there is a souvenir shop in Mass Effect 2 on the Citadel, and I think that you can do the this is my favorite store on the Citadel thing. But I can't remember if you have a renegade choice there. Is there a renegade choice there?
There might be.
And it's like I can't remember to it. I can imagine that Shepard is like Fretters that you will give me that space hamster at a discount or else. And it's like no, Shepard, please. Yeah. So yeah,
Yes, next thing we're probably gonna see is space parrots now.
no. Okay.
No.
So so that was this little something before the podcast, but it's time to get serious. I think we have our list, what we should do now, what we should talk about, and the things mostly it's the things that we promised at the end of the last episode. First, we'll talk about the gangs of Illium because you wrote so much about these gangs, and they are quite amazing how well it turned out. Like it's not it's I'm just impressed. So I would like to ask you, Tyler, to present these stories and these gangs and the leaders of the gangs who are in this Shadow Council of Illium.
All right. So the first on our list, oh gosh, is the Sword of Gothis. This gang was actually a militia group on the colony world of Gothis, a Turian colony. What happened with these guys was during the Reaper War, they protected the colony and fought off any Reaper forces they could. After the war, the relays were destroyed and their colony was actually suffering. So when the relay network finally came back up, they had no choice but to start raiding other colonies and other worlds. Initially, they actually had pretty solid rules. Don't kill anybody. We're
Yeah,
going to try
yeah.
and do this without any bloodshed. Well, eventually, the leader of that militia group gets murdered, and he's replaced by a Turian with the alias of Separtus. Separtus is he actually is more like a gang leader. After that, the gang actually flourished and only accepts Turian recruits. The only requirement is that you get the colony tattooed on, the colony symbol tattooed on your face.
It's funny because they are actually not like under that colony anymore, as I understand.
Yeah, they are not part of that colony anymore. The colony actually is supposed to have disavowed them.
I don't
So,
think that. I think that at this point, the colony just changed the markings or something. Like, I know that this is a sacred tradition, guys, that we have a face mark of the colony, but these assholes just stole it.
so after several years, Separtis actually gets a invite to join the other Illium gangs in a loose alliance, basically protection from the Omega gangs and basically anyone on the outside. So, Separtis actually loves his freedom. He actually wants more autonomy. But in reality, they can't do that. Or he can't do it as much as he'd like because he's now part of this alliance. So, to reiterate, basically, they're on Illium for protection, specifically against the Omega gangs. Because the Omega gangs will have no problem picking these new gangs off one by one. But with this protection, they guarantee safety. They're currently active in what used to be, or what is still, the Eclipse Sisters territory, which is a branch off from the Eclipse.
And
And
I can imagine
yep.
that because this gang is originally from Turian space, from a Turian colony. Um, I think that they are still active in the Turian systems. Like they are one of the biggest gangs in Turian space now. Like because we talked about, I mentioned in the post-war Turian hierarchy video that Turian space is highly infested with raiders now, and I think that this group is maybe one of the largest players behind these pirate gangs.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and yeah, they're very well known for smuggling, piracy, and much like how in Mass Effect 2 you go to Chunka and you see a blood pack recruiter there.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, he doesn't do anything, but he's there. Same thing. You'll see a Turian recruiter on a Turian world somewhere, much in the same
that's a good
capacity.
idea. I actually like this, like in an alley or somewhere.
So, yeah. Yeah. You selling drugs? No, selling gang membership. So,
So can I join? Are you a Turian? No? Then no.
exactly. So, for the most part, because these guys use their old war tactics, meaning they are very good in small, tight units, tight knit units with very good technology and weapons. They are supplied by what do you call it? Shoot, I forget what the company's called. They're supplied by someone rich and famous in the Mass Effect universe. I forget.
Armory? Or
I
that is the
forget.
Batarian.
I forget.
Oh god, there are so many, like there is Armax
I
Arsenal
know.
and Haliat Armory and oh
It's
I
here
don't, the
somewhere.
Armory, Haliat Armory is actually, I guess it makes armors. I think it's Armax Arsenal.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I found it. This is a weird name. Hene Kadar. I said that wrong.
Haknakadar.
Hene Kadar. Yeah. They're a company that's been around in the Mass Effect universe for a
Yeah,
long time now.
yeah,
So,
Haknakadar. Yes, I guess.
yeah. So in a way, they are actually getting weapons and armor from them. Uh, and so in these quick strike units, they're actually known for basically hit and runs, but more spec ops like. And these guys are very good at assassinations. Not in the sense of Thane, but in the sense of this is a Black Ops team. They're going to put it,
But
put a
they,
couple rounds in the back of your skull.
but they still have like cannon fodders. in their ranks.
Yeah. So they actually sorry.
So
The younger, less experienced Turians are kind of put on the front lines, and
so what would be
either they're
like
told, sorry.
if you would fight them? Fight this gang on a street or somewhere, like what would be their tactics? I can imagine there are some cannon fodder like in the middle that you are fighting, and
Hmm.
the black ops is actually like using stealth or something to go on a, I don't know, on a higher position or flank you, and then shoot at you with a sniper rifle or something like that.
Exactly. So the younger Turians of the group, the less experienced ones anyway, will be sent forward, past everyone else, either to succeed and live on, learn, and become one of the older members, or kind of die. And basically, these are your cannon fodder. They will be up close and personal with you, trying to make you stay undercover. Or while the Spec Ops Turians will try and flank you. They'll try and get on higher ground and use sniper rifles, uh, assault rifles, and shotguns. Basically, anything that can take your shields and your health down as fast as possible.
Yeah. So actually, the cannon fodder is just suppressing you.
Exactly.
Okay, that's
And
cool. That's a cool
yep,
gang, I think. So they have their own tower on Illium?
yes. Uh, they see themselves as they sell themselves out as a shipping company almost. This is one of the few gangs that actually has a secret company and everything to try and seem legitimate. In reality, they're just scum.
Maybe I just have an idea that these gangs are like it would be really obvious if each of them has a tower maybe. Like some of them doesn't have a tower, they have something else. Like these guys have like a port where which is not publicly open. It's like a hangar where they can put ships and store things and these kind of, yeah. So maybe they have a giant warehouse combined with a hangar area.
Mm.
It's
All
kind of
right.
like a port. Publicly, it's a port for shipping.
All right.
Is that okay? Or
Uh, sure.
I'm just asking because you always said that each of them has a tower, but sometimes it just doesn't look like the all of these gangs would, I don't know, use or a tower for their headquarters.
Well, it's mainly just for looks for the tower part. A lot of their operations do take place in other parts, so Gothis, I can definitely see them using hangars and stuff as more or less quick headquarters. That makes sense.
Yeah, and maybe because they are Black Ops, they would like, okay, that let's say that tower is officially the headquarters, but actually our headquarters is not there because fuck the other gangs. They should not know where we are.
Yep. Just to end with this gang. Um, to sum them up anyway, their boss's main saying is you should only have to hit the target once. So
Okay,
that should explain their tactics pretty well.
okay. So, next gang.
Right, the next gang that would be the Altakiril, also another Turian gang. Um, I actually had to look up on the wiki for this because I found this very interesting. Altakiril was actually a Turian colony before Mass Effect 3 and 2 and all that. It was already there. And it was known for being this very cold ice world. And only the strongest could, truly survive there. You know. Um, Basically, when the Turians arrived, the not Turians, my goodness.
This
The
just
Reapers. Yeah, the Turians, no.
this just shows how like Turians can't like Turians are so bound to their birthplace that they are naming their gangs after the planets where they were from.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so basically, when the Reapers came, uh, Altakiril, the colony world, was given uh, anti-space weaponry, and they put it in the middle of each of their cities. Unfortunately, the Reapers said, "Screw this! It's not worth the effort to take out, to cull so many, and try to face against these weapons. Let's just blast them from space, at maximum range." And so everyone on the planet got killed. The supposed last member of that colony is known as Delm Demaratus, a Turian who was actually fighting on Palaven during the time.
It's like Shepard's Soul Survivor start, but it's tripled by 1000.
Unfortunately, so yeah. Um, so, sorry. So, yeah, this guy survived the wiping out of his home colony by getting shot at in a foxhole by a giant reaper. So,
Poor guy.
he, yeah. So, throughout the war, he fought on Palaven and eventually on Earth, but after the war, he spent about 6 years ish being a pirate alongside a Krogan named Servat Drock.
Why did he become a
Eventually,
pirate?
because jobs for ex-soldiers usually it sorry, jobs for ex-soldiers sometimes seem a bit lesser. Less fun. There's less meaning to them, less structure to life,
Yeah,
and this
I
is
can
what he
imagine.
felt.
Okay.
So what eventually happens is he becomes a pirate for a few years and decides maybe I should start my own group. So he finds other soldiers who are severely out of the job, basically homeless, and he ties them together, and he becomes a very successful pirate. And eventually, the group grows so large that they're actually seen more as a gang, and they even fight over territory compared to a pirate group still. So, um, unlike the sword of Gothis, he actually recruits Turians, humans, Asari, Krogan. There's a few Batarians somewhere, stuff like that. Um, sorry. Sorry. So eventually, his group, because they would raid so many places, he has problems with the Eclipse as well, and even the Blood Pack. Uh, he actually did so much damage to their supply lines, they even teamed up and tried to go after his group. Fortunately, though, he was offered to join Illium, the Illium Shadow Council at that point, because his group was so large. And so now he's a part of them.
Yeah, I think that they just stepped into too many people's pie, I guess, at that point, when they were recruiting Krogan and Dastari and many.
Yep. He uses everyone to their maximum potential. And because he was fighting on the front lines in the Reaper War, he has gained some experience, or, well, needed experience, to command these people around in the most efficient ways possible. So, for instance, there are Krogan and Asari teamed up together to be a power, this quick strike teams of just either raw strength and raw biotic power, which is a pretty deadly combination when you want to hit a target as hard as possible.
So yeah, so their fighting style is really aggressive.
Very. Um, for instance, human Centurions will kind of stick back in the background while these other units I just mentioned will try to get as close as possible and use said raw strength and biotic ability.
Okay,
Um,
that's nice. And what is their main profile? Like piracy and raiding?
uh, yes. For the most part, they actually do raiding, but they've also become more of a paramilitary group. So they're also known as mercenaries, and they're even hired out as uh, what do you call it? Specific units are even hired out to fight certain factions from other groups.
Okay,
Um, dang it, sorry.
not a problem.
Let's see. The Turian leader. Hold on. Damn. Oh yeah. Demaratus. Yeah. Sorry. So, Delm Demaratus. Uh, his main quote of his uh, saying in life is, "There is no price too big for survival."
Yeah,
If this,
that's the quote
yeah,
from the gang leader.
yep. And this guy is actually supposed to be very scary. He's not. he he's known for pushing around even his own allies to see how far he can push them. He's encroached on other gang territory just to see how far he can get. And when someone actually does try and uh, intimidate him, when they're trying to intimidate him, he's a very scary guy himself. He has quite the temper when he needs to use it, and uh, he is. Uh, oh,
I just
sorry.
imagined Staran when he's having a tantrum.
Actually, that's a very good. That's a very good imagination. Yes, that is how I imagine him as well. So, if you need anything, look at that.
There is just one
So,
guy in the HQ whose sole job is to replace chairs and desks.
yes, yes, yes. So basically, Altakiril is its founding members were ex-military, and so for the most part, their tactics are very good. Um, you may see Solarians, usually not. Batarians are pretty rare too, and I don't know, maybe Elcor, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, maybe not, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, do you want to spoil that or not? Like, I guess I
I'll
will
leave it
say
up
it.
to you.
I will
I'll
say it
leave it up to
then.
you.
We talked about it before that when there will be a mission, when you will fight with the Altakiril, and at the end there will be like, okay, we can't handle these guys, let's bring out the big guns, and they actually bring out like a boss. Like, maybe that's not the boss, but for the
A
play,
boss fight.
and it's actually a boss fight with an Aircore who has superior armor and a fucking like cannon on his back, because it's we have heard that Aircore fight with big guns on their back. They are actually mobile artillery, if you can say that. And I just want to see an Aircore with a giant gun on its back.
I mean, who hasn't?
Who
Who hasn't?
hasn't? So it would be
Yeah.
like a boss fight with an armored Aircore. Sometimes it shoots you, sometimes it charges at you. It's just, it's just awesome. I
All
guess
right.
everybody would love to fight against an Alcor. So there is that. Next
All
gang.
right. Next gang. So next one I'm going to talk about is the Yakshi, real quick. Or no, it's not going to be real quick. Um.
Yes,
So
it was not an
sorry.
accident that its name is Yakshi.
Yeah. So this gang is its name actually translates to Night Wind or Night Winds. Can't find a translation here. um. So basically, this gang was made by the Asari Sadria Asteris. She gave it. She gave this gang its name because of the name of the Ardite Yakshi, knowing how deadly they are and how feared they have become in the Asari society. Unfortunately, they don't get recruits as much as they'd like because of said name.
Yeah, because I
Um,
think that they
yeah,
only recruit Asari, but Asari do fear them.
very much so. Yeah, they are a Asari only gang, and this gang has actually been around a lot longer than most people would probably imagine. They've been around since 2083. And the reason for that is because they've been a pretty small gang for most of their time.
Like, how
Uh,
long was that? Like 200 years?
uh, Almost. Let's see. So, 130 ish.
Like, what did you say? Like 2080?
Yeah, 2083.
83. And what was the time when the Reaper War? I just
That's
forgot.
3 years after its 100th anniversary.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so 130 years, kinda. That's
Yeah.
a lot of time. But if we look at the real gangs like the Yakuza and the Triads and these kind of gangs, then we can see that there are examples in real life.
Oh, yeah. And of course, the Asari can live for basically ever compared to us. So,
So it's not even a long time.
no, well, not for them. This gang originally sprang up on Thessia in its more gang infested parts. I mean, let's be honest, every world has its problems. So, um, after
You
spending
just
much time
said
there,
this. You just said this so delighted. Like, oh
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
drama.
exactly. So, after spending much time there battling smaller other gangs, uh, they found that there's probably more opportunity on Illium itself. So, they moved their entire operation to basically what I would call a casino planet. So uh, that would that happened in 2120. So even then, it would still be a while until they would gain true popularity. During the Reaper War, Alien came under attack. I believe we mentioned this in the last
Yeah,
episode, in the
yeah, yeah.
last podcast. So Reaper invasion attacked, and Sadra and her gang were actually on the front lines. She led the attack, and holding the Reapers back for so long until the war's end, she became very well known, very loved by a lot of people. And the Yakshi grew faster than any other gang that, possible, that ever has. So they're technically the most powerful and just raw strength, raw biotic ability. Um, So they are technically the head of the Shadow Council, although there's no true boss. They're just the most powerful, like I said. Um, let's see.
Like, what is their main profile? What do they do?
Mm. For the most part, they are just the most gang-like gang out there. They fight for territory. They tax everybody they can as much as they can. Uh, what do you call it?
So
Once again,
they have
yeah.
a
Sorry.
broad network in the like
Oh
under
yeah,
city of Illium.
yeah. A lot of their influence is actually in Asari space, mainly being in the new theocracies we talked about last time.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I just flashed this idea that if you want to go there to the theocracy, maybe you can get a deal from the Yakshi to smuggle you in.
oh yeah. So, especially like you said, in the underworld of Ilium, every gang has their finger in this little, in this pie here. But for the most part, it's the Yakshi. They're the most well known, and they are the most active in the Ilium's underworld. And people know this, and they are tired of it. People have been supplied by who nobody really knows yet, but They've been supplied with weapons to fight the gangs off as civilian militias, more or less. And the Yakshi are very tired of this. Unfortunately, they can only cause so much damage before even they have to stop by order of the Illium government. Now, if they had a good excuse to try and not purge the underworld, but, get rid of the people they don't want to be there, they'd love to. For the most part, their tactics usually rely on, well, the regular, tactics. Stay at a distance, hit the enemy with as many biotics as you can, as much as you can, and basically that. If you get too close, or if there's too many of them in one area, they will charge you, like how Vorcha will, and they'll come right at you and use all their biotic abilities as fast as possible on you. So
Yeah,
yeah, these are enemies to stay a distance from, or at least try to.
and actually, it would be quite terrifying that they are spamming so many biotic abilities and that they would use it like in a formation. Like, okay, I will go there and flank them through that, I don't know, from that place. And actually, oops, two biotic black holes are there. Great, you can't go there. Because they are working together, they are actually experienced SRE biotics.
Oh yeah. Talking about experience, by the way. Uh, what do you call it? Oh shoot, what's her name? Sadria is actually a matriarch, and what makes her truly terrifying is that everyone thinks she's a bit crazy for one. Two, she is not like most Asari in the sense of, oh, she wants to be in a gang for a while, then do this, do that, like the other Asari that we've seen,
She
where
is a
they have some sort
matriarch.
of
She will not move on.
yeah.
Like,
No, she will not move on, and she has been in this business for hundreds of years. She knows what she's doing, and she's probably actually the most cutthroat out of all the gangs, gang leaders. Um,
and that I think that matriarchs in the eyes of other species, matriarchs are kinda crazy in a way every time. Like we didn't see it, but like imagine just that you are hundreds of years old. You have the connection to reality is I know this is another topic, but her actions are just more, I don't know, I think radical many times than one would expect.
yeah. Um, well, what do you call it? Being so old, there are actually rumors of how many children she has aired. She personally has never been the mother of any of these children, but she is the father of many. The most inflated rumor is around 200 children, sorry, children that she has fathered. That number is just a rumor. Nobody believes it, but it is actually to believe more to be around 20 to 30. Uh, Throughout her lifetime, a number of these of her children have actually been killed. Um, current in sorry in modern times, she actually has about 6 living. That's it, and 5 out of her 8 top lieutenants are her daughters. Not because they're related to her or anything, but because it's just sheer loyalty. The last daughter is also supposed to be pretty loyal, but she also has more influence in the gang than the other sisters. And unfortunately, that is a threat to her. So she actually puts her on the front line because if she were to assassinate her own daughter, she would lose face in her own gang. But if her daughter became a martyr, she would actually not only gain sympathy, but also technically even more power because she would then have the ability to wipe out, whoever took out her daughter in that case.
Yeah, It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. I've heard it before because, you know, I was really curious about it, but I didn't want to tell these things to you guys because, as you can see, that I really wanted to like Tyler to present it because these are basically his ideas. Maybe I had a few, I don't know, tweaks here and there, but really minor ones. Like these things are just awesome, and we don't even tell to you the missions that we envisioned for the future because like all of these gangs will have missions about them like you wouldn't even expect. So it's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I actually had a lot of fun writing these games. I mean, like I actually put a lot of research into this, and I still love it because uh, it actually does feel very Mass Effect to me. That this could happen in the Mass Effect universe.
Yeah. So these
So,
these were three gangs. There is five more.
yes. Um, the New Suns. This is actually a offshoot from the Blue Suns, as you could probably guess. Those of you who couldn't, what is wrong with you? No. So, during the events of Mass Effect 2, Archangel is fighting off three gangs and a horde of recruits, of random street thugs, on a bridge on Omega.
And stupid kids.
Exactly. What eventually happens is a trooper known as Tekimatsu Matsunaga was fighting for the Blue Suns at the time. Seeing the sheer massacre of everyone else, he decided to abandon the cause and left the Blue Suns. Uh, he would
Like
go on
he
and,
couldn't go back. Like he couldn't go back to the headquarters. Like, oh, I like lost my way to the bridge. Oh, it's over. So sad.
yeah, exactly. So he talks, he secretly talks to other gang members and convinces them to leave the gang with him. And they start a small mercenary group known as the New Sons. Now, these guys actually would hire themselves out as specialized security or specialized forces and pretended to still be part of the Blue Suns. So, still using the old name of the Blue Suns, they pretended to be part of a, what do you call it, more Spec Ops faction of the group, where in reality they were just lying. So, eventually they would gain more recruits and more power, and Tekimatsu would he would try and work for as many rich people as he could, get as many investors and all that to back his cause. During the Reaper War, this actually would help him, believe it or not. So he would continue to uh, what do you call it? Hire himself out as high risk security, do low risk uh, extraction missions, and so on and so forth. And these things that would really symbolize that, oh, these guys look pretty good, although they're a gang, maybe I should throw a few bucks their way. Um, Even at one point, they were supposed to, they even paid for like a soup kitchen type thing. People who couldn't afford their food. It was a gesture of goodwill, showing that, oh, we're good guys, and this worked. And so they actually got a lot of funding after the
And
war.
a lot of
Oh, sorry.
manpower.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because they became so well known after the war, a lot of recruits came their way. Once again, especially ex-veterans. These guys hire Turians, humans, sorry, basically anybody they can. And
But I can
sorry,
imagine that mostly because Tatsunaga worked. I'm saying it right, right?
Matsunaga, yes.
Matsunaga worked with mostly humans and Turians before. I guess that Most of the recruits are humans or Turians as well. I don't think that they would make exceptions, but generally.
Oh yeah, most of the recruits, recruits. My goodness, English, it's hard.
Tell me
um,
about it.
um, so most of his recruits are Turian and humans. Um, it's usually, oh, sorry, let's see what you can do, and if they do well enough, then you'll be accepted. It's not, oh, come and just say you want to join and we'll totally let you in. It's you have to have at least a certain level of skill that we can, utilize and use and all that, and yeah.
Yeah, but but let let's talk about the leader because when we talked about the nuisance, I actually um the theme around them really grabbed me. I'm still at war with English words sometimes. Really really touched me. That's also very weird. I don't know. So the theme is really good. Okay. Um, and it's
All right.
centered around the leader.
Yes. So, uh, Matsunaga is actually probably the most military-like of all of them. He actually does not see his gang as a gang. He actually uses them and talks about them like a mercenary group. He even criticizes the Blue Suns of betraying what they originally were supposed to be, which was a mercenary group. So, for the most part, they are actually hired out as security and such, more than the older factions. Matsunaga, now being an old man, has grown wise. He has grown to truly understand how this part of the galaxy works. Um, during the more or less early days, his group actually fought the Blue Suns. They even had a small, well, what you would call a war in the Terminus and in the Attican Traverse. At one point, the Blue Suns even hired an assassin to kill him. Illium tried to, that they sent him an email saying, "Hey, join us on Illium, be part of the group, have an alliance." And his gang was actually strong enough where he said no initially. But during the assassination attempt, a shot ripped through his right cheek, and he survived. But that made him fearful enough to join this alliance. So now, to try and counteract any more assassination attempts, 6 Drell bodyguards travel with him everywhere.
That's one of
No
my favorite
exceptions.
parts. Like six Trail assassin bodyguards. That's just so cool. It's like
Yep.
I can envision a grand boss fight there.
Yeah. This guy is not to be messed with, especially because of the bodyguards. um.
I don't think that he would be a cheap shot. Like,
Oh no. Yeah. After all this time, he himself is supposed to be a very good fighter. He just doesn't get to show it off a lot.
yeah. Okay. From these things that you've said about this gang, I can see that these guys have many recruits. Mostly because, as you've said, the last three gangs were basically led by aliens. From a human standpoint, the Blue Suns was a good target for humans. The Blue Suns had many human members, like mostly like 60% or 70% of the members was Blue Suns. It was started by a human, and now I said that the Blue Suns don't have the funding, don't have that much of an influence, and it's basically a veteran gang elite club now. So the new recruits flock to the new Suns. That looks at this point, the new Suns looks more like the Blue Suns in Mass Effect 2. So they have more cannon fodder, they have more people who are like, okay, here is a rocket launcher, do your thing. And, they have many, many more people.
Yes. Um, because they have so many recruits, a lot of them could actually be considered cannon fodder. But once again, Matsunaga utilizes each of these roles in the best way possible, actually using a lot of tactics from the other gangs to be the best that his group can be.
Yeah.
So,
So maybe
for
they,
instance, sorry.
no, like maybe they not have the best equipment or the best experience, or maybe they are not biotics, but actually they use their numbers to their advantage.
Exactly. And so, yeah, a lot of them are not going to be biotics, but the few that are, once again, they will use the tactic of the Krogan Asari or uh, the Spec Ops team tactics or something like that, to where these guys actually are dangerous because they have so much variety in the way they fight you. And also because they just have so many people working for them.
Yeah, so I can imagine a fight when you are like there and you just can't hold a point because they will flank you from every corner. Like they will get you to your side, they will get to your back, and you just can't find them that fight them because they have just so many more people than other gangs do.
Exactly. And there, these guys, because we talked about how the Altakiril may or may not have Elcor uh, artillery on their side, these guys do. And they're, once again, the Blue Suns are known for being basically a small military of their own. So it'll be fun seeing how what situations you can get in with these guys.
So it's like I
Um,
don't think that they will have air core artillery, but because that will be a unique thing for the Takiro. But I do think that the Blue Suns was known for their heavy weapons. Like, how many rocket launchers they had. I think that one point we've even seen some kind of arc weapon. So yeah.
yeah. Um, Matsunaga is a very calm person. He's not like the other gang bosses where he'll yell at you or he'll get angry right away or he's very subtle. He never threatens anybody, but even his enemies, weirdly enough. He sits back, listens, and then says either yes or no, and then you die. um, he's probably the most agreeable to talk to, although he's also very, very scary to deal with. Because if he sees you as a liability, you will be, well, marginalized. Let's say that. One of the many ways that the gang actually makes money is through, once again, mercenary work. Occasionally, they will raid and do very criminal like things if they have the need to. Mostly, they try not to. Um, but their most secret of weapons is a Volus named Nert.
Oh
His real
yeah.
name's unknown. Yeah, Nert. No one really knows his real name, but the Volus is a incredible accountant, especially for a Volus. He makes the this gang millions and millions each year, and technically is even the most powerful member of the whole gang because he has access to all this money. But he actually likes the gang, and he actually finds it exciting to work for them. So,
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. So we talked about this and was like, maybe it was not obvious, but then I said that, yeah, actually he had two options. Maybe in the game you will have a chance to ask him about it. Like, you are an accountant. Why do you work for this gang? You could work on the Citadel for billions of, credits too. Like, why do you risk your life and everything for this? And it's like, I could choose. I could work on a citadel for millions of dollars, or I mean, sorry, credits, or I could do it here and I would earn the same money. But the difference is that I'm actually having fun here.
So, the Blue Suns are actually one of my favorite gangs to have created, and I
New
am
Sense, you mean?
excited. Hmm?
You said Blue Sense, not?
Blue Suns? What? Sorry,
I
what?
think you've said Blue Sense now.
Blue Suns. Oh no, sorry, New Suns.
Yeah.
New Suns.
Oh my
Bad
god.
me.
Oh my god.
So what?
Like, I just looked at the time, and I think that there are 8 gangs, and we just had 4, and we are already at
Well,
nearly an hour. So the thing is
no,
that,
it's okay. There's one gang left. The other ones are unnamed because they're actually much smaller.
yeah, I
There's
know.
the other ones are sorry. We won't get to them unfortunately because they are so small. But there's one gang left. So.
Yeah, and we will leave those 3 for like TBD. Like,
Mhm.
if we want to, we can put something in. But we want to flesh out 3 of the, I mean 5 of the 8.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the next gang, the 5th gang.
Exactly. So this is known as the Sarrus Nulls affiliate.
Oh my god.
Uh, this gang was well. The history of it is in 2180, a young Solarian named Ladarin Sarrus was a failed geneticist, and so with what little money he could get from his own coffers and from the bank, he bought a factory and all the equipment to create mechs. You know, because the company known as Hene Kedar would actually outsource their product and have freelancers create their machines. Unfortunately, this did not happen for many years, and he thought he was actually going to go absolutely broke. After the events of Mass Effect 1, with the whole Citadel being attacked and everything, mechs became one of the most bought commodities in the galaxy, and he became incredibly rich. After many years and a few mistakes along the way, he was actually able to buy Hene Kedar, create his own mech upgrade company, and buy the weapons company that used to supply that Hene Kedar also used to use. Um, During the events of Mass Effect 3, Ladaren Sarrus would actually make mechs almost for free to fight the Reaper forces, knowing that he needed to put effort to in for the war. Uh, all around, he was a good guy, but after the war, his company was failing because of the losses in profit. A associate named Vac, another Solarian, actually started to take his he actually started to take his own mechs and start um, loan sharking to other wealthy people around the galaxy. So what eventually used to happen, what happened is uh, Ladarin. Sorry, I can't find where I can't talk. My goodness. So Ladarin actually did not like this, and he wanted him to stop immediately. But because Vac had so many holdings in the company itself, he had very little power to actually do anything about it. A year later, Ladarin actually was found dead in his own apartment. So, and in a will left and found by Jvac, coincidentally, the company went to him. Because of that, many new mechs started, and the new loan sharking business, the Sarrus Knowles affiliate, actually became a bank, more or less, for the underground, not underground, underworld. These guys use their basically armies and armies of mechs to uh, loan out money, and if anybody doesn't pay up, they are sure to pay you a visit.
That's cool.
Um, yeah. So basically, these guys are the underworld big bank. Everybody comes in them for money. Even Nert, to some degree, actually has to deal with these guys. Um, Fighting these guys, you'll actually see new mechs. You'll see old ones too, like the Loki, Ymir, and stuff like that. But you'll see one, and you'll even maybe even see the Rampart mechs. You may even,
Definitely. I
oh
think
yeah.
definitely. Like
There's also
both the Eclipse, the remnants of the Eclipse, and these guys, they will improve the Loki Max because they were just okay. They stopped like a regular intruder, but everyone knows that after the war there are no regular intruders.
well, yeah, exactly. And the company, the Ladaren Mechs, which is now actually ran by a Volus, makes the mechs for the gang or for the underground baking, whatever it is, Sarrus Mills affiliate. And the new mechs that you will see this gang have is called the Sarrus mech, which is a more military version of the Loki. Basically, it's the Rampart with a little bit less armor and still pretty smart though. Um, Another one you'll see is the Icarus and even Imperator mechs, which I am very excited to try and see what scenarios we can put them in. Um,
Icarus and Imperator. I can't remember today's.
yeah. So Icarus are they were inspired by the Geth actually, in the sense that when you saw them on Vermeer, Eden Prime, and all these other places, you'd see their dropships fly over, and all these troops would basically be shot into the ground and still be fine. And after seeing footage of the Geth attacks, uh, the the company was inspired to make these new troops of they're gonna be shock troops. Fly a ship overhead real quick, like the Geth would, drop these troops, and at the very last second before hitting the ground, they ignite a basically jetpack or something to slow their descent. Uh, these troops are too heavy for them to actually fly around and jump around, but they are meant to be quick and fast reinforcements to fight against. Um, some of the troops that you will actually see in this organization will be um, mainly Solarians, humans, and anybody who can do tech skills. These guys will be. Sorry, I can't talk once again. Um, they each of these engineers usually command through 150 to 200 mechs each. Each of these guys are responsible for keeping their mechs in order and working condition. Um, da, da, da. So the leader of the Sarrus Mills affiliate is actually a Solarian known as Jundun Pak. Even how he is imagined to look is the Solarian from Mass Effect 2 when right before you try to find Archangel, the Solarian who works for the Eclipse. Um, he actually hires Krogan and Vorchut to be his bodyguards against it. You know, much like how Matsunaga tries to protect himself from assassinations. Jundun Pak has actually had his own problems and hires the more ruthless security.
I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable if Vorcha and Krogan would protect me.
You're telling me. So that's basically that gang right there. They're a big bank for the underworld.
That's cool. That's also cool. I can imagine that they have their factories. So yeah, these are all cool gangs, and I think that like everyone would love to see them in action. They are so different from each other. They have cool stories for themselves. It's just so good to see that we can share all of these things with you here in these podcasts. And it helps me a lot because actually making those videos, they are kind of awesome using his pictures and stuff. But actually, like, I would like you to imagine these kind of things because for the new stuff, like for this gang and that gang, and I really would like to show you concept arts, but currently we don't have that. So these podcasts are really helpful to us that we can present you so many things with so, I don't know, well, it's kind of well executed like this, I think.
Yep.
Okay, I think it's we are over an hour, so I guess it will be enough for today. I know I promised Liara for you, but she will be the topic in the next podcast, I think. I don't want to make this now any more longer. I try to stick with the 1 hour or 1.5 hour. So we will be here next week with Liara and other new characters. And yeah, we will talk about the how the choices of the trilogy will affect the game one by one. So yeah, this this was a good podcast. So I will say our goodbyes now. Please, if you like the video, then comment down below what you want to like hear in the next. What should we put into the schedule? What should we talk about? What are you interested in? Put a comment down the under the video, and please like us, share, and subscribe. And see you guys in the next Mass Effect 4 Guardians podcast video. I was Naomi Demeter, your commander,
And I was Tyler.
and I was Tyler. Okay,
Yep.
so see you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.